Hello, thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rant. Today's rant is going to be titled, People Who Take Out Their Misery on Others. Because this can be very tricky because obviously, there are people in the world who are very miserable. Obviously, because if you've lived, you've been around those miserable people in life. And there's one aspect of it that can be very tricky is that, they're miserable and, they feel the way they feel. But then sometimes when we get caught in the middle of their negativity and it comes out and it's directed at other people, those other people can sometimes internalize that and think that it's towards them, So basically what I'm trying to say is that when people that are miserable lash out at others, you can take it personally. You can think that you did something wrong when a lot of the time when people do that, it has to do with themselves. And it's mostly, I would say, insecurity or, something in their life that's making them miserable. But one thing that I've already talked about before on this channel is, the whole not taking it personal, because when someone lashes out at us and, they say horrible things to us because they're miserable themselves, you want to take it personally. And it can be hard to not take it personally, especially when they're yelling at us, they're saying horrible things about us, when they're actually making it personal. And it can be very difficult to see it from that standpoint, but you really have to understand that what they say has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. And they're just taking out their anger. And this happens sometimes when I talk to my mom. I'll give her a call and we talk sometimes, and, she's pretty miserable right now because she has a lot of pain in her back because she's getting older. One of her children, my sister, is being pretty difficult right now for her. And, they don't get along all the time. So, she's pretty miserable with her pain and not getting along with her. And sometimes, when I call her and we have discussions, her misery can kind of come out sometimes when I ask her certain questions. And, I could sit there and I could get, offended and I could take it personally, but I'm like, this has nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with her. She's like lashing out because of her pain. And, I have that mindset where I know it's not about me. And, it's such a really, really difficult mindset to adapt because, and when it happens, you're so quick, like a snap of the finger, like you're so quick to think it's about you. And this also happens, in public when you're at a grocery store, or say you're at a Subway restaurant or a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Walmart store. And, one of the employees snaps at you and says, like maybe they don't yell at you, but like you could tell they have an attitude and they're having a bad day, like sometimes that happens to me and I take it personally, like you have to understand that, again, it's not personal. But I don't want to keep repeating myself, but it's just something that, you're always going to have miserable people. You're always going to have people like that in life. And it's about navigating around them or working around them, That has to do with difficult people in general. Like you have to learn how to work around them because, like you're never going to have a shortage of miserable bastards. They just exist and they're going to be in the world for a very long time. You just have to learn to navigate that and not let it get the best of you, because it can be very hard, especially when you're going through things yourself and someone's snapping at you and sometimes yelling and saying mean things to you. Like it can really bring you down. It can really bring down your whole mood and you blame yourself. You're like, is this really my fault? Like, am I really like this? Am I really doing a good enough job? Am I really a good person? Because you take it personally. And, that's something I learned with my mom, because I used to do that when I was a kid. she'd be in a bad mood and like take it out on us and say certain things. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with me. Like before I used to take it personally. Like when I was like even up to my early 20s, I used to take it personally. But then I had to realize it wasn't about me, And so now I have a totally different mindset being in my 30s now. But anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rant. Signing out. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.